Welcome back once again. We appreciate so much you spending part of your March Madness Sunday with us here on the Roundtable program. This is the ultimate pregame show. Coming up, voters, as we said in our first segment, voters in May are going to have a big decision to make in Wood County. They are voting there for Perrysburg Municipal Judge, and we've got the candidates here with us who are going to be part of this primary. We've got Molly Mack, also Drew Griffith, and Aram Ohanian. We appreciate all of you spending some time with us. As we said going to break, when you guys are on the ballot, there are going to be a couple of other matters on the ballot, especially for the biggest district, which will be the Perrysburg City voters. They are going to be going to the polls, also voting on a transportation levy issue. Now, if that is to bring out one contingent or the other, do you see that helping your vote, getting you into the judgeship, or hurting that? One thing I found out from the Wood County Elections Bureau, or the Board of Elections this week, they said a 20% turnout is actually a low turnout. I was surprised by that, but they said it could get better. So I guess I pose to you, and Drew, we'll start with you this time. As you look at people going out to vote on the transportation issue, does that, because you're all Republican, even though this is an impartial levy or this is an impartial vote and impartial position, do Democrats showing up in high numbers or Republicans showing up in high numbers trying to vote down the levy possibly affect this vote for you?
Well, from my perspective, the greater the turnout, the better it is for my particular campaign and for my candidacy. With the experience I have and the qualifications that I believe I bring to the table, if I can get my message out and get the word out to the voters, the more voters, the better. So I hope it's a high turnout. From a point of view of citizens ought to get out and vote, and from perhaps a more selfish view of hoping to win the primary.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I think it's going to, the turnout will be a lot higher. And I think that's a benefit, and that's a benefit for all of us. We all have our own constituency.
Because of this transportation issue, you're thinking?
I think so.
Yeah.
It's an important issue. And I think when people pay attention to an election, they're also going to pay attention to the candidates. And when they do that, they're going to make the decision that's best for them. And that's all that we can really ask for, all three of us, is to take a good look at what we are, where we come from, and pay attention to what they're voting on and what they want in a judge. And I think with more people coming out paying attention to the transportation levy, they'll also pay more attention to this and realize what an important position it is and make their choice based on that.
As people, I always forget sometimes we get in tunnel vision here in the media because we cover these stories so often, but once again, Perrysburg City pulling out of TARDIS services, looking for some type of substitute for the people of Perrysburg and putting a levy on the ballot in May. Molly, I'll let you have that question as well as far as the turnout question.
It won't affect how I campaign. I'm going out and knocking on everyone's doors, or as many doors as I can, regardless of whether there's something on the ballot. This is on the ballot just in Perrysburg, but it doesn't affect how I campaign. And you know, the people have a right to come out and vote. I hope they do in large numbers, but it doesn't affect how I campaign.
You know, Aram said something and I want to touch on, and so much of this is very, I guess, based on resumes and your experience. You have brought up experience. You have all brought up experience and how important that is to the position. But you also brought up this is a name recognition vote. Do you think that people are going just based on name recognition? And by that question, how important has it been pounding the pavement, getting out there door to door, that kind of thing? Molly, start it off.
I think it's a grassroots. You know, you need to talk to the voters. You need to knock on their doors. You need to give them literature. You need to meet with them to figure out what they expect from this position and from this judge. And, you know, we've had a very good response on our campaign, and you know, whether it's name recognition at this level, I mean, we're all Republicans. We're going to people that have a vested interest, I believe, in putting the best and most electable Republican candidate before the general election in November. So I don't know if that answered the question, but you know, we all have unique experiences. Mine, I would bring a fresh perspective to the court, and you know, I think it is knocking on doors. It's figuring out what the constituents, what the electors want.
Drew, is it a name vote or a resume vote?
Well, it's probably a little bit of both. I think all voters like to have an opportunity to meet the candidates. If I get a personal audience with a voter or a potential voter, I think that's to my benefit, and I think the others would agree as well. So, as opposed to national election that we went through last fall, this is a grassroots effort, and my supporters and volunteers, we get out and do our thing, and as will the others. But a personal connection with the voter on a door-to-door visit, or a chili cook-off, or a fish dinner, or a pancake breakfast. Again, going back to what I said earlier, that humanizes the position, that brings the court to the people, that lets them know that I'm approachable, or these other candidates are approachable. We're campaigning for the position. We are at the disposal of the public right now.
Yeah. I think it is, well, there is name recognition in every election, but I think the important thing is really the resumes and the experience that we have. And we're doing a lot of door-to-door. We're meeting with people, meeting with friends, having friends talk to friends, and that's been the basis of our campaign. We're getting in good shape from all the door-to-door we're doing, but this is a really important election, and all of us want the voters to take a look at what they want in a judge, what they want their judge to know, what the experience of the judge has to have, and again, we're doing that door-to-door. We're doing that by putting our literature out there, going to the pancake breakfasts, and all those things. But it's really about what you want in a judge. Yep. And that's what we're trying for.
I want to show people at home, talking about dates, specifics, times, so on and so forth. As far as the primary is concerned, as we said, it comes up here on May 7th, going to the polls there in Perrysburg. A number of other communities have things on the ballot for the primary coming up on May 7th. But one of these individuals right here at the Roundtable this afternoon, when you may be watching at home, maybe you're watching online, but one of these individuals going on to the November election, where they will go up against Tom Mackin, is the only candidate right now, I believe. Is that correct? Only candidate on the Democratic side right now, wanting to get into this position. The other thing we wanted to point out, if you want to learn more about these candidates, there are some websites that they have set up. You can go to those. I want to show you those addresses there at home so we can take a look at those. First one, Molly Mack for Judge, I believe.com is the first one. CDrewGriffith.com is
Correct.
Drew's here, and Aram. Help me out. I think we have the graphic at home. If we could show the folks at home.
OhanionforJudge.com.
Ohanian at, say it again?
OhanionforJudge.com.
Easy to remember.
Or CitizensForOhanion.com. That also works.
Okay, you got two. So you bested me by one. As we move forward, and obviously getting out the vote, very important. I'll give you all 30 seconds, the last 30 seconds, to kind of put your platform out there. I'll start off with you, Molly. We've got about 15 seconds, I've been told.
All right. Well, I am chief of the Civil Division in the Wood County Prosecutor's Office. I bring a fresh perspective, extensive experience in all the federal courts as well as the state courts, and I appreciate your consideration and vote in May.
Drew, go ahead, 15 seconds.
I've spent my entire career working in the municipal courts throughout Northwest Ohio. I have experience as a mayor's court magistrate for some 8 years, where I do the great majority of what is the Perrysburg court's work on a weekly basis, having presided over some 16,000 cases over the course of that 8-year term. And I, of course, would appreciate a vote as well.
Aaron?
Well, I want this position because I want to make a difference. I've been strong on domestic violence issues, substance abuse issues. I'm actively involved in the community, veterans issues. This is an important election. You need to base your decision on what you want in a judge and based on their experience. Having done over 4,000 cases in Perrysburg Court, I think is an important position.
All of you, I so appreciate you taking the time to talk to our audience today. This is not easy, folks. Talking like this is not easy, and I so appreciate them making the opportunity for you to learn a little bit about this position. We'll be right back right after this.
I have to warn you.